Hello and welcome back to the UCL review, where we round up all the biggest talking points and results from the best sporting competition in the world. Joining me today, it's Henry Hill. How are you, Henry, on this fine Wednesday evening?
No, I'm great, actually. I mean, we were just talking off camera. It was a bit of an anticlimax, some of the games that occurred in the Champions League tonight. I was really expecting some fireworks, but we didn't quite get that. Nonetheless, it was nice to sit down and watch it anyway. And yeah, I'm looking forward to talking about Real Madrid.
Absolutely. We're kicking off with Real Madrid because they proved all the doubters wrong by dominating Gladbach in a 2-0 win at home thanks to a double from Karim Benzema. This secured them top spot in the group ahead of Gladbach, who quite remarkably finished second, so fair play to them. Just 2 wins from their opening 5 Champions League games this season had left Real Madrid needing to beat Gladbach to avoid exiting in the group stage for the first time in their 118-year history. Get a load of that. That would have heaped even more pressure on Zinedine Zidane, who has also seen his side lose 3 of their opening 11 league games so far this season. That's as many as they lost in the entirety of 2019-20. And I feel like if they'd lost this, I'm not suggesting I wanted to see him go, but I think there would have been a lot of clamour for Zinedine Zidane to lose his position. Since he returned to the Bernabeu, Real have only won 5 of their 13 Champions League games with 5 defeats. 1 fewer than they lost between 16-17 and 17-18, so that 3 in a row years. But for big games like this, you need your big players, and Madrid were more than happy to welcome back Sergio Ramos after 6 games out. Gladbach, meanwhile, had been one of the shocks of the competition so far, competing in the tournament for the first time since 16-17 and drawn against Inter and Real Madrid. Not many expected much of them. Going into this side, though, no side had scored more than their 16 goals, level with Bayern Munich and Barcelona. They only needed a draw in this game to guarantee a top 2 finish. Interestingly, though, their league form has been a little inconsistent. They've only won 4 of their 10 games to date, with their defence a major problem. No side in the top 8 in the Bundesliga has conceded more than their 16 league goals. And some shaky defensive work continued here. But Henry, I was watching Atletico Madrid, you were watching Real Madrid, so what did you make of the game, really?
I mean, what a performance from Real Madrid. This was made out to be a huge test, and really they just absolutely rolled over Gladbach. Gladbach never ever got into the game at all. And you spoke about Sergio Ramos coming back and being a big player, but who else had opened the scoring for Real Madrid but Karim Benzema, their star up front. And if you watch the header, it was a lovely floated cross from Lucas Vazquez, who we'll get on to later, but had a really brilliant evening. But it's such a brilliant header. He arrows it into the top corner. Jan Sommer, no chance at all. And that was his 69th goal in European competition. And it wasn't long before he made that 70. Another header again. And this time it was Rodrigo who found some space down the right side, the left side of Gladbach's defence, I should say. They had an absolute stinker down there. And there was no surprise at all that Oscar Wendt was pulled at half-time for Lazaro, who I'm surprised didn't start. That was already a defensive move. I mean, it really felt like Gladbach, I wish they had to win the game outright. Do you know what I mean? To qualify. I wish they had that emphasis, because they just sat back and just sort of let Real Madrid come at them all game. And, it could have been 4-0 by half-time. Luka Modric hit the post, had a goal disallowed. And the only chance that Gladbach created in the whole game, the one shot on target, Alassane Player raced through. And bear in mind, he came into this game with 6 goals in 6 games. And yeah, he couldn't even hit the target one-on-one with Courtois. They only registered 1 shot on target in the whole game throughout. Courtois had a really quiet evening, much to Zinedine Zidane's delight, no doubt. And the second half didn't change again. Benzema so unlucky not to get his hat-trick. Jan Sommer pulled off some incredible saves from a Sergio Ramos header, and then Benzema hit the crossbar. Lucas Vazquez hit the post, and it was so comfortable for Madrid that Zidane could even bring on Sergio Arribas, a 19-year-old, for his first Champions League appearance. I can't really overstate just how easy it is. There was long periods of possession where Gladbach didn't touch the ball once. They were completely outworked in defence. Kroos and Modric just drifted through it easy. Kroos was accurate with 15 out of the 16 long balls he attempted. It was that easy for him to sort of get in at them. And, 63% possession for Real Madrid, 19 shots to 7. So that's 7 on target to 1 against Gladbach. They made 657 passes to 359, 90% accuracy in their short passes, all get to the point that Real Madrid complete cruise control.
Yeah.
Obviously, Benzema was brilliant. 4 shots on target, 2 goals, and his link-up play, as we often say, which is one of the most underappreciated things to think about him. 94.8% passing accuracy, just brilliant. Luka Modric, awesome. Rodrigo as well. I thought Rodrigo had a really quality game on the wing. But yeah, Lucas Vazquez dominated the right side of the fence, made Marcus Thuram almost look non-existent in the game. He could have scored. I mean, it was just so... Braylen Bola was pulled at half-time. He wasn't there. He hardly featured. Player was the only one who slightly had a chance. And Marcus Thuram, yeah, like I said, just wasn't there at all. But yeah, Lucas Vazquez, 5 key passes, 4 out of 5 accurate crosses, and his assist as well. Gladbach really looked like the side who got to the top of the Bundesliga last year, but roughly around this time of year, and then just completely folded. And that happened again. Luckily for them, in an incredible twist, Inter Milan could not find a winner against Shakhtar Donetsk. I think they had over 20 shots. I just had a look before this, and there was only 4 minutes of added time shown by the linesman, but it went on to about the 8th minute. So they've scraped away with one of the jammiest kind of qualifications ever in second place. It really is. I mean, it's kind of fitting of that group of just how crazy it was throughout the whole thing that Gladbach ended up finishing in second after such a poor performance, having almost blown it against Inter in the previous game. Anyway, next up for Real Madrid, they have a huge game this weekend against Atletico Madrid, who I really fancy their chances against now, while Gladbach host 12th place Hertha Berlin, looking for just their second Bundesliga win in their last 5 games. They really need to get their act together there. But, I mean, let's turn our attention, I suppose, to the Red Bull Salzburg game against Atletico Madrid. Also a do-or-die for both. What happened there, Dougie?
Well, Atletico Madrid continued their magnificent season really by beating RB Salzburg 2-0 with goals from Mario Hermoso and Yannick Carrasco in a game they simply couldn't afford to lose. So they'd only won 1 of their opening 5 Champions League games and drawn the consecutive 3 in a row before that. And that had left Diego Simeone's side just 2 points ahead of Salzburg, knowing they had to avoid defeat to progress along with leaders Bayern Munich. Now, knowing that, Diego Simeone actually went for a very exciting lineup. He went for Llorente, Carrasco, and his first choice partnership of Joao, Felix and Suarez, who is featuring in the Champions League for the first time since match day 3. But Atleti got off to a terrible start, really. Berisha picked up a knockdown, turned savage and hit the post with Oblak stranded. Salzburg then completely dominated the first half. They were electric to watch, to be honest. Not so much patient build-up. They just attack wave after wave. They're very direct. They were using Patson Daka and Mumwejo, And they just didn't really care about controlling the ball. They were trying to get it as fast into the Atleti opposing area as quickly as possible. And Atletico were at 6s and 7s. However, in typical Atleti fashion, they then took the lead on the 39th minute. Joao Felix went down very easily on the left-hand side. Anthony Taylor not impressed at all with his theatrics on that occasion. Carrasco swung in a beautiful ball and it went in off Hermoso's shoulder. In the process, he became the first Spanish defender to score for Atleti in the competition, a stat I couldn't quite believe when I read it. Then half-time came, 48 minutes. Szoboszlai missed the opportunity of the game, really. Fantastic build-up play from him. Played an excellent 1-2 and then dragged his shot to the left-hand side of Oblak's goal. And then it sort of continued like that. Atleti were dominating momentum, really. They never looked too bothered, but Salzburg had much of the ball. It was like Spurs-Arsenal at the weekend, except Arsenal were actually good on this occasion. I thought Salzburg were actually excellent, but they weren't. They didn't really have Atleti at any point, particularly in the latter stages of the second half, thinking that they were going to concede 2 goals, which is what they needed to do to go through. And on the 85th minute, Trippier played in Correa down the right-hand side, who crossed for Carrasco to meet volley for the first time. It was an absolutely gorgeous goal. Los Rojiblancos have now progressed from the group stages in 6 of the past 7 campaigns and will be hoping to at least reach the first semi-final since 2016-17. But Henry, you feel like RB Salzburg can sort of go away with their heads held pretty high?
Oh my goodness, I had a little look before we came on air and I saw that they've taken 85 shots in the Champions League going into this game, and I think their shot total in this game take them over 100 shots in the group stage, which is bonkers for a team in a league we don't even consider to be one of the best in Europe. But yeah, like we said, this is their second time in the competition. They've given themselves a really solid account. They were in with Liverpool and Napoli last year, and they performed admirably this term, I should say, scoring 10 goals in 6 games, the second most of any side to be knocked out behind Manchester United. So yeah, like I said, just super unlucky. Really talented squad, and you'd back them to come again in future seasons in the Champions League. Well, no one will be wanting to draw them at all, let's face it. And they can turn their attention to the Austrian Bundesliga, where they find themselves 1 point behind Lask, which is quite a surprise actually. And now they've got the Europa League. They'll be dropping in there the likes of Ajax, Man United and Shakhtar Donetsk, some big names there who you don't want to come up against in the draw, if out of the Europa League, certainly. Absolutely. And they can be proud of their performance once again against a dogged Atletico Madrid. That is a classic Simeone performance, it sounds like. Salzburg had 57% of the ball, created 18 opportunities, but only got 2 on target, and that is the really important factor here. Atleti had 7 chances and got 4 on target. It shows you just got to make the most of those opportunities. And all eyes were on Dominik Szoboszlai, as you said, missed a glorious opportunity. He's got this really intriguing €25 million release clause, which we'll have to wait and see what happens in January. All the top 5 clubs will be after him. And, he put in a fairly decent show. 1 tackle, 1 dribble, 2 key passes and 2 shots. But yeah, we'll be ruining that opportunity that could have put his team into the round of 16. For Atletico Madrid, Hermoso, excellent performance from him, really coming into his kind of game this season. 5 tackles and interceptions, 3 aerial duel wins, 1 dribble, 1 shot, and of course that all-important goal. But I see here you've given that man of the match to Carrasco, who provided the assist for the first goal that sealed it. 3 goals and 1 assist in 6 league and UCL starts this term. I have to admit, I was sceptical when they announced him as a signing again, but he has been brilliant. I certainly remember watching him against Bayern Munich early in the group stage, and I thought he was excellent there again. And once again, big player for the big game, as it were. Up next, Atletico Madrid obviously are facing Real Madrid this Saturday. Really looking forward to watching that one after seeing Real Madrid put in easily their best performance of this year against Gladbach earlier. And, a win there would put them 9 points against Real Madrid in the table, with a game in hand as well. While Salzburg have a Europa League round of 32 game on the 14th of December to look forward to. That's to wait to be seen who they'll be up against there. So yeah, Dougie, all in all, what a thrilling Champions League group stage. So much action and drama. But, what a funny kind of night to end on, really.
Yeah, it was a bit of a damp squib. I thank you for staying with us if you've watched for this amount of time. Both the games had their moments, and there's some sort of joy to be able to take from watching Savic, Felipe, Hermoso, and then Carrasco and Trippier on the right-hand side, their sort of defensive structure, Koke in front of them. Atletico Madrid were very solid. Salzburg hit the post a number of times, but Oblak was never really tested and looked pretty comfortable. But yeah, Atletico Madrid march on. And there are some phenomenal sides left in the division, and left in the tournament, I should say. And it feels like there's probably no outstanding candidate aside from Bayern this year. I think Liverpool have definitely shown more weakness than we've seen before. Man City too, Barcelona a lot of difficulties, Juventus, Real Madrid too. So Henry, if you just quickly before we go, who do you think is going to win the Champions League?
It sounds boring, but I would go for Bayern Munich again. Just still look dominant in the Bundesliga. The only thing is their defence can be got at. That has been proven. Salzburg proved that a few times. But like you said, just all the big boys not quite taking a step forward. But I wouldn't write off Liverpool either. I still think that Liverpool have looked quite impressive, and I would back them. Actually, I will say Chelsea. Chelsea really surprised me in this group stage. They're flying high in the Premier League. They hardly concede. They score for fun. And obviously that Krasnodar game yesterday didn't quite show it. But yeah, Chelsea, I really think they're the dark horses in the competition this year. Really exciting team.
Absolutely. I think there's 17 games unbeaten in all competitions now. Quite a run for Frank Lampard, and yet he's still regularly abused by football Twitter. It drives me nuts. But guys, who do you think is going to win the Champions League? And what did you think about Real Madrid's display this evening and Atletico Madrid's display? Let us know in the comments down below. Thank you very much for watching UCL Review for this week, and we will see you next time. Bye!